Alright, welcome everybody to part 2 of mixing with Waves plugins, where we are doing a mix with nothing but Waves plugins with a few exceptions. And we are also doing the same mix with nothing but stock plugins and Slate digital plugins to compare the three mixes at the end. So last time we checked out the mix bus, and today we're going to be doing drums. But let me mention a few things first. Last time my last plugin was going between the Kramer tape and the Saphira, and I ended up going back to the Kramer tape off camera because to me it just kind of handled the top end a little bit better. And today we're going to be looking at drums, and let's go over to our drum tracks real quick. You can see I have this M Auto Align, and all that is a phase alignment plugin. I know Waves has a phase alignment plugin, but Cubase does not have a plugin that does that. Every DAW can align phase by like nudging tracks and, like delaying the sample by a few milliseconds or whatever. And Slate Digital also does not have a plugin like that. So to keep it consistent, I'm going to use this plugin to align all the phase, as well as try and keep it consistent. And to me, this doesn't really matter because you can do this in the DAW, but just to save time, I want to do it with a plugin, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to it. We'll phase align the drums, and then we'll go ahead and start mixing. Just listen to the weight of the snare and the kick drums.
Before I've learned my lesson, I know you're trying to simply the only way I know to give you what you need. So please hold on tight. You're on the mind for you. Whatever I lay, now you should know I won't lose my way. Love always saves me. Love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, my mind should know I won't lose my way. Save me, love always saves me. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, we are sitting in this room, finally alone, with a peace of mind that I've been searching for. And all I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. No, I'm home. I was there like a start. Gift of the present always lives in your heart. So let's enjoy our time. Lean on you, you lean on me so good when we're together. before, and all I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. No, I'm home. I was there like a star. For your time, I'ma lean on you, you lean on me so good when we're together. Hey, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Always saves me. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. We are. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. We are. Here we are, well I'm off again, going through this world, traveling. I done seen some things before I've learned my lesson. I know you're tired, seem to leave. The only way I know to give you what you need. So please hold on tight, you're on my mind. For you I will. Hey, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Love always saves me. Love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Love always saves me. Love always saves me. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. We are sitting in this room, finally alone, with a peace of mind that I've been searching for. And all I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. No, I'm home. I was there like a star. Gift of the present always lives in your heart. So let's enjoy our time. I'ma lean on you, you lean on me so good when we're together. Hey, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. Way, love always saves me. Love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, my mind should know I won't lose my way. Love always saves me. Love always saves me. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. We are sitting in this room. Finally.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here. So obviously we started with the phase alignment, and then I wanted to try out a preset here with Saphira on the drum bus, and it's called Drum Bus Enhance 1. And you could see that it's adding some harmonics to the low end, and that's cutting out some of these low mids too, which is pretty much what I like to do. As of course I do stuff with the mids and the high end as well, but if you look at my EQ, I high passed at 20, I added some 60, I cut some of those low mids at 350, and then boosted some top end at 8K. And with the SSL channel, I like to put the EQ into the compression, because the way that compressor reacts with the EQ going into it, I don't know, it just really really smacks it hard and gives it a real punchiness. So most of the time I like to do additive EQ after compression, but not with the SSL stuff. And I even do that with the Slate digital stuff as well. Okay, so let's move on. Then from there, I usually will start with overheads. And let me also mention this. I used the NLS Neve channel on all of these drums, because this is a really it gives a real sense of fatness to anything that you put it on. Okay, so just real basic filtering, high pass filter at 50, then cutting around 350 again. That's it for that. Both overheads are the same. Then I did the same with the mono drum room, but I also used some parallel compression. I'm using the 1176 plugin in all buttons mode, and I'm just gently putting that in just to give it some energy. And I think I just accidentally set this to pre-fader. Okay, moving on. Toms, same thing. High passing at 23 this time. Didn't mean to do that. Excuse me. Okay, and then cutting at 350. That's it for those. Real simple stuff here. With the hi-hat, all I did was high pass all the way up to 350. That's it. Nothing else is going on. What I will probably do is go in and add some of this drive, and then dial back the output. But maybe I'll do that off camera, and then just so you know, if the drums sound a little bit different, that's all that happened, was I added a little bit more of the color of the console. Okay, let's go to kicks before we go to the snare. So for the kick, I added a lot of 8K here. I added some like 3 to 4K to get some of that beater sound. Always cutting out 350. And on this one, I used a high pass at 20 just because I don't need that super low end, because the kick out is the one that's achieving that. And then so the only difference here is instead of using the high pass, I added a little bit of 60 hertz. And then with these kick tracks, I'm getting about 3 dB of compression. And this is a really nice compressor. 4:1 ratio, fast release, slowish attack, and then this has an auto makeup gain, so that's really nice. It kind of makes it easy. And then for the snare, I high passed all the way up to 60. I boosted with a shelf at 220, cut out 350 again, boosted about 7K, and then boosted at 12K, and then once again about 3 dB of compression, 2 to 3 dB. So real simple drums. The only other thing is I added a reverb here, and it's just basic reverb with a long pre-delay to separate that initial attack of the snare from the verb, just to give it a sense of space. And these waves plugins, like I said in the last video, they're really giving it a sense of space. It's really nice. And to me, the drums are just a lot cleaner now and much more punchy. And just they have a better sense of depth and width. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you didn't, you can give it a dislike. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. If you really liked it, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much.